If someone says to you, I saw something similar for cheaper, say, you ready? This will blow your mind. You've never heard this before, by the way. Guarantee you've never heard this. I've never heard it. I actually, it came out of me when I was answering someone the other day, and I'm like, ooh, that's good. Someone says, I saw something similar for cheaper. You say, so sales objection 101, turn problem people into profit. And this is true. A lot of times we don't want objections. Like, oh, I hope they don't object. A lot of the best people I ever recruited or ever sold something to had objections. They just did. And whether they were questions, were they objections, like rebuttals, like what exactly were they? I don't know. But it's rare for you to make sales without any kind of questions or objections. So you need to put your big girl pants on, your big boy pants on, and you need to learn how to handle objections. You need to learn how to take someone who maybe in the past you would have perceived as a problem person and turn them into a sale that could change their life. Notice I said their life, because what you're selling, your product, your service, or your opportunity, hopefully you believe it can change a life. Because if not, why are you selling it? I don't want to sell things that don't change lives. I'm not interested in that. I want to sell things that change lives, that change the entire family dynamic. I want to change the entire family tree. I want to change the entire neighborhood. I don't want to sell things that don't change lives. And hopefully you don't either. You learning how to overcome objections and you learning what I'm going to cover here in Sales Objection 101 is going to help you change more lives. And hopefully you are selling something, you're offering something, a product, service, or opportunity that has that possibility, right? I'm going to break down 4 of the most common sales objections. And by the way, one of the things that could be preventing your sales is you could be blocking money with your subconscious, with some form of sabotage. And for that, I highly recommend my brand new book called Faith Driven Wealth. We just launched it a couple weeks ago. We have 33 5-star reviews already, and they're really deep. They're really intense. If you did buy it, please leave a review. Yours doesn't have to be intense. You don't have to go into depth. Just say really good book. Say something, because it really helps us to have more reviews, and we appreciate that. If you struggle with finances, and that's been a pattern of yours over the years, I highly recommend grab the book. It's about 100 pages, very easy read. A lot of people read it in one sitting, which is amazing. And so this will absolutely help. Faith Driven Wealth, it's on Amazon. You can get it at higdongroup.com/FDW. Because if you have a pattern of just not making money, really, really struggling, it may not be a strategy problem. It may not be a tactic problem. It may be a programming problem. It may be an identity problem, which I cover big time inside of the book. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. Sales objections 101. Number 1, too expensive. Oh, this is too expensive. Oh my goodness. How much is it? Oh my goodness. Too expensive. Now you're typically going to run into that when it's a product. Okay. Now, usually with a service, you've done it in a way where a service kind of forces you to talk more about the benefits of the service. And so you'll probably get too expensive less on a service. Okay. I'm not saying you'll never get it. You certainly can. But usually with a service, it kind of forces you to talk about the cost savings of the service or the benefit of the service. So I'll focus on, with too expensive, I'll focus on product. Okay. So if someone says, oh, that's just too expensive. If this is a product-based company, what I love is, you know what? They could have used cheaper ingredients, or if it's a technology or something, they could have used cheaper parts, but they wanted something that worked. The owners of this company could have used cheaper ingredients, but they wanted something that worked. Now, first of all, anything that doesn't work is too expensive. So if I go and I get a 5-gallon bucket of fat burners that don't work for $2 at CVS, that was $2 too much, because anything that doesn't work is too expensive. But ask yourself, what if it works? What if it works? I just started a different income stream. It's not a network marketing company or anything, but it's just something I think I'm going to have a lot of enjoyment with, and I think it's going to be really profitable. And so I am convinced it'll work. Now, it was an investment, but I'm convinced it'll work and I'll be able to make it work. So the cost is not that big a deal. It's when you don't think something's going to work that you're like, I don't know about that cost. I mean, look at, people will spend tens of thousands of dollars on gastric bypass or whatever. Why? Because they know it'll work. They're literally going to suck the fat off of them or whatever that process is, right? People will pay if they really believe or know that it's going to work. They will pay that. They will pay whatever, massive amount. But when they don't know that it'll work, it may seem too expensive. And so this is a great way to handle that objection is, oh my goodness, that is so expensive. You know what? The owners could have used cheaper ingredients, but they wanted something that would work. And that also appeases our mind. We're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like better quality stuff typically does cost more. So it's a powerful one. Powerful one. Number 2, I saw something similar for cheaper. I just saw collagen at CVS for a nickel or some kind of nonsense like that. Or I just saw a water ionizer for $50 on Amazon. Okay. Now here's the dumb way to handle this. The dumb way is to say, well, here's the difference, right? This one has L-carnitine in it, or this one has a different filter, or that's the dumb way. That's the slow way, because then you get into this comparison spreadsheet mode that never ends. Because guess what? They'll go find another thing. And pretty soon you got an entire spreadsheet that you're rebuttaling. Oh, I found these 15 different things on eBay. Right. And so instead, and this is how you want to think about objections. You want to think about objections not as, how do I answer this objection? But you want to think about an objection as, how do I change the mind of the person that just gave me this objection? How do I alter how they're thinking right now? This whole tit for tat thing, well, what about this one? Well, what about this vitamin E? Well, what about this collagen or CBD or elemental B, right? This whole tit for tat spreadsheet analysis, rebuttaling, here's why it's better than Celsius and Red Bull and Mountain Dew and like all this stuff. Instead, if someone says to you, I saw something similar for cheaper, say, you ready? This will blow your mind. You've never heard this before, by the way. Guarantee you've never heard this. I've never heard it. I actually, it came out of me when I was answering someone the other day, and I'm like, ooh, that's good. And so thank you, God. And so someone says, I saw something similar for cheaper. You say, I'm curious, what in you made you realize that that wasn't the right decision to buy that other thing? What in you, when you saw that cheaper thing, caught you from buying that particular thing? What was it? What was it that made you realize that that wasn't the good choice? Because they didn't buy it. And here they are talking to you. So there is something in them that told them it wasn't the right move. So this will do 2 things. One, it'll blow that one out of the water most times. Number 2, they'll be impressed that you actually spoke to them powerfully with posture. And number 3, it might do this. They may actually tell you, well, I didn't like that had a goat on the front, right? I don't know. They may actually tell you what kept them from buying that thing. This is a winning way to handle that objection that you've never heard before. And so I'll even tell you like what prompted me to come up with that, because I've never heard anyone say it. So I don't know why I get this stuff, but like maybe because my wife's a realtor, I don't know. But I saw this realtor, there's a realtor in a realtor group, and she said, the person I just met with said the last realtor they met with had sold 15 more homes than me last year. How would you respond to this? And to me, it was just a natural answer. I've never heard it anywhere, but it was just like you would say, well, what in you, what in you kept you from working with that realtor and had you work with me? How did you know they weren't the right decision? It's a good answer. It's a good answer. Come on. Helpful? All right. So that's number 2. Number 3, don't have the time. And I've shared this story before, but I just love it. And you guys need to hear it. You need to use this kind of posture. So we were doing my wife was doing a presentation. This guy comes in and, she finishes the presentation and he's sitting in the front row, and she asks him, and he was all dressed up, had suit and tie on and everything. And she said, what'd you like best about the presentation? Which is a great question. Don't ever ask, what'd you think? People aren't used to thinking. Don't force them to do that. It hurts. What'd you like about the presentation? What'd you like about what you saw? And he said, well, I work 70 hours a week. So that was his version of, I don't have time. I'm too busy. And her, without skipping a beat, said, how long do you have to do that? In that moment, he had a career epiphany. This was like, he didn't really know how to answer that. And so when someone says they don't have time, one great way to handle that is, when will you ever have time? Do you have a plan to bring money in that isn't related to you constantly working every minute of the day? Do you have a way to have residual income? Most people do not. I remember people would ask me, they would say, well, Ray, how much you make your first month? And my answer, depending on when they asked me, my answer was, you know what? I don't know. And they're like, they think they've won. They're like, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. I said, you know what? I'm not sure, because there are people I introduced to this 7 years ago in my first month that I'm still being compensated off of. I'm still getting paid off of. So it's hard to calculate how exactly much did I make that first month, because there are people that years and years and years and years later, I'm still getting paid on. See, the average ordinary person, they don't have that experience. Think about a realtor, right? They sell a home, they sell it one time, they get a good commission, hopefully, and they're never paid again unless that person buys another home in 3 to 5 years and happens to use them, and they spend marketing to stay in front of them for 3 to 5 years. See what I mean? It's not residual. That's addition. That's not multiplication. That's not, I bring someone to the table and I'm paid every single, that's multiplication, right? And oh, by the way, if they introduce someone, I'm paid off who they introduced to. But that's don't have time. What you don't do with this one, don't baby bear it. Please don't baby bear it. Don't say, well, you could fit it into the crooks and corners of your life. You could do it in 2 minutes a week, right? Don't do that. Don't drop so low that you play it down. Don't do that. So many people do that. They're like, you only need a couple minutes a day. And it's like, you're begging and pleading. You're desperate. It doesn't work. You're out of posture. No good. No bueno. Okay. So number one, I talked about too expensive. Number two, I saw something similar for cheaper. Number three, I don't have the time. Number four, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. And so when someone says they don't have the money, a great first question is, I'm just curious, if you did have the money, would you move forward? It's a great question, because some people will be like, nah. You will reveal that some people are just saying that because they want you to go away. They don't want to do it. Okay. And that's fine. You're not, no matter what I teach you, no matter how many books you get, no matter whatever, right? You're not going to close 100%. I don't close 100%. You're not going to close 100%. Anyone who tells you they close 100%, just send them to me. I will reject them, and then it'll prove that that's false. Okay. No one closes 100%. I don't care all, the different titles, how to sell anything to anyone. Like, no, stop. You're not going to sell everyone. Okay. So if they say they don't have the money, hey, I'm just curious, if you had the money, would you move forward? And they may say, oh, nah. Okay, cool. No problem. Well, hey, no problem. Do you know anyone that does want insert benefit here? So if you're talking about losing weight, do you know anyone that does want to lose some weight? If you're talking about making money, do you know anyone that does want to make some money? Do you know anyone that does want to save on travel? Do you know anyone that does want to have better drinking water? Whatever, right? Whatever benefit you've been leading with, it's fine. Now, they probably won't give you a referral, but it's likely that may get them re-engaged in the conversation. So let's just assume for a second, I say, okay, I'm just curious, if you had the money, would you move forward? And they say, yeah, absolutely. Second question. Okay. Assuming we get a yes. Second question. Okay. So you're saying whatever your startup cost is, if it's $5,000, if it's $10,000, if it's $50, if it's $2, whatever that is. Okay. So you're saying, because I want to make sure they understand what the investment is, right? Because some people may not even know that. Don't assume that. And so I want to say, okay, so you're saying that you don't have $497 in your bank account or available on a credit card. I'm going to ask that question. Okay, you're saying you don't have $497 if that's your price, or $5,000 or whatever. Okay, you're saying you don't have X amount in your bank account. Say that first. In your bank account or available on a credit card. Do you realize I've had people say, oh, you can use a credit card? Yeah. Why would you think you couldn't? But anyway, and so yeah, you can use a credit card. I've had people say, oh, then I'm in. But see, some people would hear that don't have the money and be like, oh, okay, all right. Right? No, if you had the money, would you move forward? Okay, you're saying you don't have X amount, whatever that amount is, you don't have X amount in your bank account or available on a credit card. And if you have other payment options, like if you got PayPal or Venmo or Zeal or whatever, what is it? Zeal? Is that one? Yeah, I don't know. Right. If whatever you're selling has other options, then you can bring those up too. Now let's assume, if they say yes, they may just move forward. Or they'll give you a different objection. They'll say, well, I do, but I'm just not sure if it's the right time. Okay. We don't have time to cover that today. They'll either move forward, right, which is great, or it'll reveal the true issue. Okay. Now, you will have some people that say, no, you're saying you don't have whatever, $497, $5,000, whatever, right? You're saying you don't have X in your bank account or available on a credit card. No, I do not. Okay, got it. Here's the killer question. How far off are we? How far off are we? See, we are in this together because you told me that if you had the money, you would move forward. So we're going down this line of questions to help you do just that. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm trying to help you do what you want to do. How far off are we? So I've had people on a $500 purchase say they needed $50. Well, I got $450. Okay. Is it easier to help someone come up with $50 than it is $500? Of course. If you don't ask this, then you think you have to come up with the entire amount. That can be a lot. I've had many, I don't know how many, but I've had quite a few people that were like $50 off, $100 off. And then I ask the question, okay, how can we come up with the money? So I'll ask it and I'll go silent and wait for them. How can we come up with the money? Usually they'll say, you know what? My uncle owes me some money. I need to hit him up. Or, you know what? I actually have that one bank account I forgot about. Usually they'll come up with some way to either, I've had people do yard sales. I've had people, sell musical instruments. I've had people sell gold. Had people sell their Xbox. None of those things are making them money. None of those things are changing their lives. You're helping them. You're playing big to help them change their life. And they can get off this train anytime they want. At any time, they can say, you know what? I just don't want to do it. Okay, cool. No problem. I'm not going to be like, why not? Give me that money. Right? I'm not going to chase them. They're answering. If you had the money, would you move forward? That's a green light to work with them, to try to help them get involved because they gave you that green light. This isn't pushiness. This isn't aggressive. This is diligence. This is you caring enough about them to try to actually help them. Because whatever conversation you've had that doesn't net a sale is not going to change their life. Every prospect you have that attends your presentation that you don't convert, you did not change their life. No one's out there saying, you know what, I watched this sales opportunity presentation and I never bought it, but man, that just changed my life. It turned my life around. I'm so grateful that that person gave me that good, fantastic sales presentation. So good. Changed my life. No one is changing their life from your presentation. They're changing their life if they move forward and they take action and they get into your product, your service, or your opportunity. Helpful? Good? Covered the 4? Okay. Too expensive? I saw something similar for cheaper. Don't have time. Don't have the money. These are 4 big ones. This will cover half of your objections you'll probably get. I do hope this is valuable to you. Feel free, share this inside of your team, share it in your team groups, tag someone that you think would benefit from it. And if you want to improve your sales game, get my free 4P method blueprint. It breaks down a lot of the concepts that I'm using here when I'm answering objections. It breaks down pipeline, posture, position, and perspective. We didn't get into all of those, today, but you can actually go and learn it for free at higdongroup.com/blueprint. And so I appreciate you so very much. God bless you. God bless your family. I hope this is beneficial, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.